Well, hello there, guys, and welcome to Smolensk 1943 by WARGAME Design Studios. I believe this is the company of the late, great John Tiller. Those of you that are true strategy, hardcore strategy fans, you're going to remember this guy. He is an absolute legend. And for those of you that are just kind of like, maybe just generic strategy gamers, I hate to call you that, but, those of you that just like real basic strategy games, stick around for this one, because this is something you're probably not going to see anywhere else. And that is, this is a true, in-depth, super detailed strategy game. You can't get much more detailed than this. I would stop by asking that we're now at 20,000 subscribers, guys. I want to thank everybody, first of all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, as a sort of personal advertisement, please consider hitting that join button and becoming an actual member of this channel. I think it's only a few bucks a month, and once we get to 8 members of the channel, it actually pops up on my homepage, and it really helps me out here on YouTube in general. It's going to bring more people in, and I'm going to be offering things like free keys to those members. Now, obviously, I can't get a key to every member, but for instance, I'm sitting on 8 keys of Angola 86. I'd like to give some of those away, and I think I'm going to make that an exclusive for channel members. Now, that being said, this game is focusing on the campaigns of Smolensk 1943. Now, you can play as the Allies, you can play as the Germans, as the Axis, or you can control, of course, one side or the other, or you can even play by email against a friend. Now, despite this just focusing on a single campaign of Smolensk 1943, you can see here there are a massive amount of different scenarios, and some of these scenarios, I'm going to tell you right now, are absolutely massive in scope, whereas some of these scenarios are a little smaller. And we're going to take a look at both today. I'm going to play a little bit through the smaller scenarios, but I want to give you guys a visual representation of what the larger scenarios look like in this game. So we're going to be jumping on here to Suvorov first phase. This is just the first phase of the Battle of Suvorov, and we're going to be selecting the Russian AI here. You want to make sure to select manual, and you want to make sure that the enemy is on automatic. Now, if you have a lot of experience with these sorts of games, you're going to want to increase the advantage a little more for the enemy. Give yourself a bit of a challenge. Think of this as almost a difficulty setting, and I know, the aesthetics initially are not going to appeal to every strategy gamer, but once we jump in here, you're going to see why I absolutely love this game and this company. All right, guys, we had to do it the old-fashioned way. Again, we are working with a very different kind of game than you're probably used to on this channel. Now, you're already looking, and I'm sure some of you are already intimidated by what you're seeing, but let's get up close and personal so that we can actually get a up close and personal look at each unit. Now, you can see here, when I am selecting each of these units, we're getting a tremendous amount of information. We're not only getting the amount of men in the actual unit, the name of the regiment, but we're also getting the location, the elevation, the visibility, and the local supply. All of these things matter, and we have certain units that are stacked here with multiple different groups of units in them. For instance, we've got sapper brigades here, and why are sapper brigades important? Well, we've got to get through these mines if we are going to get to the German lines. I know that's a mouthful, but it is also a fact. Now, if you look up here, the UI, I am going to admit, can be a little bit intimidating at first. There's no doubt about that. However, given some time, you can learn the UI pretty quickly. In fact, right there, I didn't even have to really select any icons. I just had to deselect our anti-tank brigade because he's currently he's stuck down here. We've got him entrenched in case the Germans try and mount some sort of counterattack. But the amount of detail here is unmatched by any game I have seen. We also have over here a good old-fashioned Katyusha rocket, which we can use to fire at the enemy. Currently, they are not in range, but this is just one of the many things you can do in this game. And actually, if I get even closer, you can see, look at that. We can get an even more precise terrain value indicator, which is going to show us where all those minefields are, and is going to give us a better visual representation of the terrain around us. That being said, I kind of prefer this look. Don't know why. I think just kind of personal preference. So we're going to stick to that for now. But obviously, just like any strategy game of this kind, you're going to have movement points for each of your units. And we're going to go ahead and start advancing with these units towards the German lines with the goal, of course, of striking the Germans. And as you can see there is such a detailed representation of casualties and how they're being taken. We, of course, lost a few men there just advancing on the Germans. They are waiting for us. And we've got indicators here that we are walking into minefields when we advance. So, of course, we're not going to go without taking some strikes here and there. There's all sorts of different units, of course, from anti-tank, anti-air to just straight up tanks. You can even call in airstrikes using this button right here, the Control A call air mission. Now, we're not going to call any air missions right now, but I just want to give you kind of a look at the scope that is available. Anytime you hear that little dink, that lets us know that we can't move that particular unit. So right now you can see he is entrenched. We would have to unentrench him and move him to actually get that guy pushing forward. But the amount of detail here is just, it's unbelievable. It really is. We've got fixed positions like these mortar regiments here. I'm going to try to get a shot with one of them, but I think we need to get closer to the German lines. They're unfortunately a bit too far for us to strike them. But let's try again. Nope, no luck whatsoever. And in fact, I believe we can, not the artillery dialogue, not the recon spotting, but one of these is going to show us the distance which we can fire at with this particular unit. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now because my goal is to push forward. I believe these units are fixed though, and as you can see, once it's fixed, to actually get them out of here, we're going to have to essentially uproot them and start pushing forward. And we're not going to want to attack across the entire line, but you can see the level of detail with those unit animations. They are not messing around, man. They are quite specific. Once again, kind of want to push forward with these guys. Let's see, Sapper, 12, 15, Recon. These guys should be able to move. I think I'm trying to move them into the wrong spot, and that is a very hilly spot, as you can imagine. Let's keep going over here. These guys can push forward as well, but once again, they may be used up on movement points. And of course, moving into that area or attacking this area, we're going to take losses no matter what. But of course, if we are playing as the Soviets, we're going to have to take a few risks to break through the German lines here. Let's try again on Komarovo, but no, I don't think we're going to get a shot this turn. We're going to have to wait till next turn to be able to actually fire with the Katyushas. I'm going to try to get some shots with these other Katyushas, but I'm pretty sure that we are slightly out of range. Nonetheless, man, the amount of detail that this game offers, it's pretty crazy. See, we're going to fire there into a random spot to show you guys what can be done with the Katyusha. Absolutely love that. Boom, baby! And once again, firing on the empty hex, not going to do much, but it goes to show you, of course, what we are capable of with some of these units. And there we go. We got a shot with the mortar. We actually did kill or wound one man here. One of the Germans killed or wounded. Once again, we're just trying to pinpoint as many rounds on that unit as possible. And that's going to be it. We are out of shots. But, of course, we want to keep on moving. And as you can imagine, this is not something that you can do all in one turn. I mean, this takes a long time. It's definitely one of those games that you need to love strategy games because you're going to be here a while. But not every single one of the campaigns has to be this massive. I just wanted to show you guys sort of the scope differences between multiple campaigns. Of course, if we go up here to the end turn button and hit next, we'll first get an indicator of any additional units that we're going to be receiving, reinforcements, and then of course it will switch over to the AI, or if you have a friend that you're playing with, they will receive the email, they can open up the game on their side, and they will play as the Germans, and of course they will try to do their best and send it back. And there's a lot of planning that goes into this. Of course, we're basically just looking at the frontline infantry units, but we also have to consider the artillery units, the rocket units, for instance, that we've been using, the AT units, and also the HQ units all the way back here, the headquarters that are going to be essentially leading all these men, but behind the lines. And certainly, you don't want to get one of those headquarters units right up on the front lines. You want to leave that to the cannon fodder. I mean, the regular soldier. So keep that in mind just as a bit of a warning here. Now, once you get into a situation where you're actually up close on the enemy, You can either go here to this button and start doing just a standard fire for your movement hex. Instead of moving, you'll be firing on the enemy, so just a basic gunfight, or you could even attempt to charge. And once you charge, you're going to go over here to this resolve assault button, and it's going to let you know just how that charge went. We're actually going to switch over to a smaller scenario so I can give you guys a visual representation of what that looks like exactly. I was really trying to get a shot, though, with these Katyushas. There we go, baby! 6 men! Love the sound of that. 10 men and 6 men, 2 damn good strikes. And as you can see, they've only got 134 men here, so I'm thinking this is going to be one of the soft spots that we could potentially break through, given some time. Look at that, 17 men just moving through the minefield. We lost 17 and 3 receiving shots from the German infantry. Let's grab these guys. We're going to have to leave the AT behind, but we could certainly bring the infantry forward. There we go. All right, we're going to switch to a smaller scenario so I can show you guys a assault and how one resolves an assault. But again, I just wanted to give you guys an idea of the scope here. And look at this. If we zoom out, this is massive. Like, I mean, this puts Gary Grigsby to shame. Let me put it that way. And this is just a tiny, tiny portion of the entire front, as you can imagine. We're just focusing on the Battle of Smolensk here. So, anyway, just wanted to show you guys that. Absolutely massive amount of detail that this game has. It's really unbeaten when it comes to detail. And I will mention that this studio doesn't just do World War II games. They've got Vietnam games. Hell, I think they even have French Indochina War games. So they really go the extra step. Now, again, I always have to do it the old-fashioned way when we are doing a John Tiller game. And that's because if we press F4, it's actually going to take us to the home page. And that's my recording button, believe it or not. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of how an actual assault occurs in this game. So number one, I want to get some guys into position. And as you can see, 23 men, man, in that minefield. We're taking some nasty hits in that minefield. But nonetheless, I think it's worth it just to get this assault going. Oh, forgot to leave the anti-tank behind. We have enough movement points to get into the minefield? I think we do. And while we're at it, let's see if we can't get some shots here with the Katyushas. I think we need to get a bit closer. Yeah, we definitely do. We're a bit too far away. Nonetheless, we'll start moving these Katyushas a bit closer for next turn. And once again, I'm trying to get as many men as possible on that hex, because I want to make sure that this is a successful advance. Now, if I were playing an actual campaign for you guys, believe me, I would take a lot longer to do this. But really, I'm just trying to show you guys what these games are like, especially those of you that have never played a John Tiller game before. You're going to be a little out of sorts. You're going to be a little intimidated. I know the feeling. I've been there, believe me. But once you actually get into it, this is going to be, to me, the best damn strategy game you can play, especially if you want authentic historical strategy games. Like, you can't get better than this. You really can't. So let's push forward here, push forward. I'm even going to try to move the AT gun forward, but we're going to need to detach it, and I don't really want to do that right now. Let's see. Keep that guy there. All right, I think that's sufficient. So what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm going to do next turn. We do have additional units, and I was telling you guys that we get those reinforcements. We're simply going to have them auto-placed right there. And I am going to end the turn. Boom. And yeah, you could save it. Doesn't matter what you save it as. I'm going to actually overwrite a file. Now, I actually slowed down the turn sequence here. But as you can see, it's going to show how our artillery affects their movement. We're going to get auto shots with our artillery and vice versa. It shows how their attacks are going to affect us, of course. But it's totally up to you. You know, you can make the turn go really fast, or you can make it go quite slow, whichever appeals to you. And you can see there's a lot of firefights going back and forth here. Our guys trying to take out their guys and vice versa. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. I love the detail too, man, for these units. I don't think I mentioned that, but the level of detail is just so awesome. We're going to go ahead and we are going to just do an action delay, instant end of turn pretty much. And it's going to jump back over to our side. And all I'm trying to do is I want to attempt a charge. So again, as you can see, we're doing an assault, right? And they're going to get their shots off first, which is understandable. gonna go over here. We're doing an assault there, and we're doing an assault from the south. And I'd like to think, yeah, that's the max we can do. A massive assault against this Fusilier regiment of 145 men. Let's resolve it and see what happens. Oh, baby, yes! Absolutely forced him back, and as you can see, he's disrupted and down to 35 men. I mean, the beauty of some assaults, man. If they go your way, you are going to be in a good position. Now, in this situation, since we brought the engineer unit over here to the minefield, and this is the level of detail this game has, man, they're actually clearing the mines. So they're not going to be ready for the assault because they're too busy clearing mines for now. They might be ready for an assault next turn, but for now, they know what their job is, and I'm just fine with that. So I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, sorry. I'm going to select this unit and this unit, not our mine clearers. And I am going to commit to another assault, although I don't think this one is going to be as lucky, unfortunately. We don't have enough movement points to continue the assault there with that unit. Let's see if we can bring this guy in. Can he join? I think he might be able to. Nope, not quite. But let's go ahead and carry it out, and I don't think this one's going to be as successful. And as you can see, 11 men lost on their side, 12 men lost on our side. Not a successful assault, not to mention that their unit didn't get disrupted. But it just goes to show you how interesting things get, how specific things can get in this sort of a game. And this is just a very small battle, very, very tiny battle here. Focusing on kind of learning the basics of the game. Anyway, guys, wow. That's going to be it for Panzer Campaigns 43. Again, this is not a new game. This has been out for a while, but I do believe that they just updated it. So if this is something you want to get into, if you want to see additional videos with this game, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I will absolutely do a campaign. Although I will admit that a campaign with this game is going to take a long, long time, unless we focus on one of the much smaller scenarios. Please like, comment, subscribe, help us out on this channel, become a member. We're at that magical 20,000. Let's get to 200,000 and make me a very, very happy little man. Take care, folks.